Thank you, Chairman. In June, I discussed with Federal Reserve Chair Powell about how he viewed the economy a few weeks before the 2024 presidential election and how he justified a half percentage point rate cut. In September of 2024, core inflation stagnated above target, and at the time, Chair Powell described the labor market as solid. He told me, he sat right where you're sitting right now, that the Fed wanted to make a statement that the Fed was supportive of the labor market and not just inflation. The economic backdrop is nearly identical today. As you know, core inflation was only a tenth of a percentage point higher despite tariff fears relative to September 2024. His reason not to cut in June or July of this year was due to fear the tariffs would cause runaway inflation. Yet the Fed's Teal Book advises the tariffs are not inflationary, but rather a one-time price increase, especially when inflation expectations have remained consistent with 2% inflation, which they have been, according to the Fed. Yet the Fed chose to wait to cut this time around, but chose to cut by 50 basis points was because the BLS reported that they overstated job growth by over 800,000. No one knew that the BLS overstated job growth again until a couple of weeks ago, but Governor Waller had been warning everyone since July that the labor market had been overstated by a large amount again. But the Fed chose not to cut in their last meeting in July. Now we have the news as of this afternoon. But this raised serious questions, and I said that to the chairman, not just on Wall Street, but across the country, about whether the data truly supported such a move or whether it gave the appearance of influencing political outcomes. But it doesn't appear that there is an inconsistency in application of monetary policy decisions. Mr. Pollack, is a dual mandate an insufficient framework for the Fed to provide a clear, consistent goalpost and more predictable framework for policy decisions?
Congressman, as I said in my written testimony, I think there should be a mandate, a sound money mandate, stating that is the fundamental goal of the Fed, because that's something they actually can do. And managing employment is not, at least in any medium to long term. And the sense that you can just get more employment by more inflation, which was the old idea of the 1970s when the 1977 and 78 Act were passed, are, in my judgment, just wrong.
Very good, thank you. Dr. Aiken, does the Fed dual mandate complicate its ability to make data-driven and apolitical decisions? And in your view, would focusing solely on price stability improve predictability and public confidence in monetary policy?
Well, as I said in my written testimony and earlier, I think there's tremendous advantages in accountability, transparency, and communication under a price stability mandate. And it doesn't mean you're giving up on unemployment. I mean, I think, you know, the European Central Bank's never been accused of not caring about whether Europeans have jobs. They care a lot, but they have a price stability first and foremost, and a secondary consideration of unemployment. So I think that's something that the U.S. should look at.
And Mr. Dubé, how are small businesses and consumers supposed to make sound investment or spending decisions when the Fed is continually pivoting between the two mandates that we just discussed?
I think it makes it harder for them to discern the future path of monetary policy. I think the Fed tries to make that as clear as possible for the public, including small businesses, by providing forward guidance. But when the future is uncertain and things can shift, and the Fed will have to shift based on those circumstances, it makes it harder for all actors in the economy to plan.
Thank you, gentlemen. Chairman, I yield back.